The fanfare at the Geneva Motor Show in 2004 was for this Volvo car, the first to be designed by women. The concept car certainly put the Swedish female design team in the spotlight, but it did more than that. It helped Volvo to recognise just how much female talent it had within the corporation.
Usually when you show a concept car or a production car, you have the managers there, the manager and the CEO. And here you suddenly, a bunch of 9 women were showing the car. That was really different. The concept car made our company discovering that we have a lot of women within the company. And also we learned about how to really ask for what we wanted.
At the time the concept car was built, Volvo, like all other Swedish companies of a certain size, did have a gender equality plan. Yet still only 12% of its managers were female. The company knew it had to do more to encourage women into senior jobs.
When the concept car was launched, we also joined a project called Women to the Top. And that was a Swedish project with a number of companies involved. And one of the things that we had to set up to join that project was how many females should we have on management level in 2008. So we had to set up a target for that, which we never had done.
As 25% of white-collar employees are women, Volvo committed to doubling the women in management to 25%. The company set up women's networks and mentoring programs and started to examine its recruitment patterns. In many countries, lack of good quality childcare prevents women from working, but that's not the case in Sweden. Camilla takes her 4-year-old son to the creche every day. 3/4 of Swedish women go out to work, yet still the glass ceiling remains in place when it comes to the top jobs. Women often undervalue themselves, but Volvo realised it too had undervalued some jobs.
The women working with interior and colour inside the car, their positions were not valued as much as the team with men who worked with the exterior of the car. So we saw that it was the jobs to work with the interior was as difficult as to work with the exterior. So of course they should have management levels in both teams.
Not one of the women who created the concept car in 2004 was a manager at the time. Now they all are.
I'm project manager over the executive cars. That is the most exclusive cars we have at Volvo Cars. All the women in the management team, after we finalized the project, got into new positions and higher positions with more responsibility.
The company didn't quite meet its 25% female management target by the end of last year, but did manage 21%. It's progress, but with just one woman on Volvo's top management board, there's still plenty of room for more. On the other side of Gothenburg, at the City Hall, it's another story. In 2008, a woman was elected mayor. No newcomer to politics, Anneli Hulten, has sat in both the Swedish and European parliaments. Unlike the private sector, the world of politics in Gothenburg is a very female place. 5 out of the 6 local political party leaders are women, and women outnumber men on the council board.
When we have worked so much with supporting young women, we have, of course, not supported the young men in the same way. And maybe the time is now that we actually try to equalize that, to support both groups. Because otherwise we're going to be just women in the politics, and I don't think that's a good idea either.
The situation in Gothenburg is rare elsewhere in Europe. Often it's outdated ideas of women's leadership potential which act as a barrier to their career advancement. Although women account for almost 60% of university graduates, only 24% of members of national parliaments are female, 31% of the European Parliament. Just 30% of business leaders are women, and only 11% of company board members. As far as the European Commission is concerned, it's a waste of valuable talent.
There is increasing evidence to show that firms which have men and women on the board do better economically. And indeed, that's particularly important now when we need to ensure that firms can survive, that we have the economic performance to withstand the financial crisis.
The European Commission is playing a key role in collecting data on men and women in decision-making positions to then analyse the problem areas and raise awareness. The Commission established a European network which meets regularly in Brussels to bring together women in top positions to exchange ideas and good practices. Out of the 27 members of the European Commission itself, 10 are women, most with key portfolios like external relations, agriculture and regional policy. A very conscious move by President Barroso. Nelly Kroes, the Dutch commissioner, believes positive discrimination is the only way to achieve gender balance, and that even her own impressive track record in politics and business was no guarantee of winning this top job.
I wouldn't have been in this office if I wouldn't have been female. And it is clearly related to the wish of the president, and he should be praised for that he had the courage before this term in office. He was quite clear and said, I want anyhow 7 or 8 female teammates. If we are not taking action, then before getting to the point of a balanced situation, it is 300 years from now. Well, I don't believe in eternal life, so that's a bit too long.
In Spain, positive discrimination has completely transformed the face of the country's government. Bibiana Aido is attracting a lot of attention. At the age of 31, she's the country's equality minister, one of 9 women in the cabinet. And 2 years ago, Spain introduced far-reaching equality laws for the workplace. The minister believes that the government is setting the right example.
Cuando ven que si el Consejo de Ministros es paritario, también pueden serlo los consejos de administración de las empresas, también pueden serlo las entidades financieras, también pueden serlo los sindicatos. Y creo que las instituciones políticas deben parecerse lo más posible a la sociedad a la que representan. En general, la aceptación por parte de la sociedad ha sido positiva de que tengamos un presidente del gobierno que se haya rodeado de mujeres.
TV adverts explain that the law requires companies with more than 250 employees to have an equality plan. And company boards must have 40% women by 2015. Dr. Nuria Chinchilla has written widely on women at work and advised the government on the recent legislation.
El problema está en si se quiere, porque los hombres son un club de amigos que están muy a gusto trabajando a su manera, pero evidentemente es algo que está cambiando, están empezando muchos a meter mujeres en sus consejos, a veces aunque solo sea por un tema de imagen, otros porque han visto que la complementariedad de lo diverso es más productivo.
The Spanish energy company Iberdrola is facing up to the challenge and going even further than the law requires to harness female talent. It's revolutionised its working practices to help both women and men achieve a balance between their work and family lives. Gone are the long Spanish working days with 2 or 3 hour lunch breaks. Now employees start at 7:30 and leave at 3:30 in the afternoon. It's all about retaining women.
Tradicionalmente, las mujeres han tenido más dificultades en alcanzar puestos directivos en las compañías españolas porque la incorporación también ha sido posterior a en otros países europeos y también porque en sectores como pueda ser el de Iberdrola son sectores tradicionalmente masculinos porque se necesitan puestos muy técnicos como pueden ser los profesionales de oficio.
A staff survey showed that people didn't want to see positive discrimination to boost women into management jobs. Instead, Iberdrola is employing coaching and mentoring programs, as well as offering flexible hours. Hema Gongora has a management position and says the company did all it could to support her.
Cuando me reincorporé de la baja maternal de mi primera hija, me ofrecieron asumir una mayor responsabilidad, pasando de gestionar un equipo de 4 personas a uno de 25. Y luego, cuando estaba embarazada de mi segundo hijo, 3 meses antes de dar a luz, mi director me propuso una promoción y efectivamente me promocionaron a jefe de departamento, entrando a formar parte del equipo directivo de la compañía.
5 years ago, there were no women in management positions at Iberdrola. Now there are 46. That's compared to nearly 400 men, but it's still a distinct improvement. Gemma has the flexibility to work from home when she needs to, and she says she feels valued.
Así es como lo percibo, que han querido, disfrutar de mi talento suena un poco ostentoso, ¿no? Pero me han valorado como una profesional por encima de mi condición de mujer y en ese caso mujer embarazada, sí, sin duda.
The results of the legislation in Spain could have a big impact on how other countries act in the future. Back in Sweden, the concept car is now in the Volvo Museum. But the women who designed it believe it certainly helped to put more women in the driving seat at Volvo. One more milestone on the slow road to gender equality in Europe.